Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I'm going to bring up a subject that unfortunately does happen. It's not as quite as common, and to tell you the truth, I haven't heard such actions as of recently, but apparently it happened. Hopefully it was an isolated actual series of events, but apparently there was three individuals that were taken into custody and federal custody at that, for the reason of they were actually holding potential uh, illegal aliens, migrants, not migrants necessarily, but people that wanted to cross without any kind of documentation, basically an entry without an inspection. So uh, you would actually contact a pollero to actually get you through the actual, most likely a port. A coyote will take you through the mountains, through the desert, and not everybody can actually survive in them conditions. So you have to also consider that. You probably go through a pollero, and then he'll arrange the actual crossing, either via vehicle, paperwork, you know, whatever means that are actually available to cross people. They're going to actually venture into that actual, uh, you know, to discover, see if it's possible. Anything's possible. So uh, basically, they were crossing individuals and holding them for ransom. So after they actually got crossed, they would take these individuals, including women, uh, but just one at a time, not in groups, and actually upping the actual cost by up to 15,000 plus what they originally were going to actually charge you. And so for this to actually occur, uh, they're trying to make up their actual money where they're actually uh, not making as much revenue like they're accustomed to due to the pandemic, the economy, the actual, the economy, the cash is not available uh, to everybody like it used to. You used to be able to save a couple of $1,000. Now you're trying to make that payment um, before it hits a 30-day late fee, so there's not as much cash at home as in prior years. So that being said, uh, they're making the adjustments, and out of a group of maybe about 50, they'll kidnap one of them and get that extra 15,000 from that particular family, right? So they were being crossed and they were being held in a safe house until the ransom was being paid, and these guys were actually getting paid. They were actually collecting because apparently they have surveillance of these three individuals collecting from certain families. And from what they understand, there's only six victims as of right now, but I'm pretty sure there's more. So that right there is a big change in someone's actual uh, state of mind when they're getting their loved ones crossed. You know what I mean? And when they have your wife, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go on the street. You're gonna actually beg people to give you money, and you're gonna be honest about it. You're gonna be honest about it. And apparently, the feds got involved, and not only these guys were collecting the actual money, but they were actually sending money down south. So they were actually in cahoots. Somebody was letting them actually perform, actually work uh, at the port, and they were sending the money to kick back for the actual ransom. So they had permission to actually do this. A lot of organizations will not allow you to do this because it'll bring too much heat. It'll bring too much actual unwanted attention to the actual organization. So set stunts like this, they won't, they will not tolerate it. just for the fact that now the feds are involved, and once a U.S. citizen is actually considered what this is kidnapping, um, you're gonna have the feds come at you from every direction, and they'll put pressure in the Mexican government to take action. There are certain crimes that the FBI will not tolerate, and they will put so much pressure in foreign governments that they have no choice but to actually react and actually get results, and just like it should be, what I mean? Because I mean, the last thing you want to do is have one of your actual loved ones, kidnapped and not you and you not have the money. You're already trying to make that money to get them across, and now they charging you 15,000 on top of that. That's actually a lot of money. So um, these guys are innocent until proven guilty. But apparently they have a lot of video surveillance of these actual guys, and they're going to be going to court here in the few months. You know what I mean? So I'll keep an eye on that one, see what the actual outcome is, and so that's the kidnapping one. So another thing that I actually uh, came across, actually found out that uh, certain groups out of California, certain factions, certain organizations, um, they're feeling the pressure and they're feeling the actual the need to cut corners to actually um, make more profit from their illicit street hustles, And there's a group out by the desert that actually were taking upon themselves to actually purchase actual meth down south and actually process it themselves, the whole process. So they were going down there and actually paying for it at a very discounted price and driving it across. And once over here, they were actually, divvying it up in between, their different counterparts over here, and getting rid of it, to tell you the truth. And so when this actually happens, you have to think what a risk that they're actually taking, because of the fact that when somebody gets caught, there's a big chance he's going to actually give up some information, and that's the truth. That's the honest truth, and that's something for you to actually worry about, And so for them to actually take on the risk of them actual um, crossing the actual dope themselves, yeah. So again, they're actually conducting the entire process, and I mean there is money to be made. I mean there is money to be made, and unfortunately, a couple of actual loads got busted, and they pieced everything together, and at different ports, at different actual different cities, and they tied it to this particular group, and uh, and they got a pretty good conspiracy actual case against this actual uh, street level actual organization. So that right there is also it's not very common. I'm not saying, well, it obviously it happens, but it's not very common. They'd rather just pay for it over here, so that way they don't have to actually worry about uh, the logistics of actually getting it across. So, and these type and the actual amounts that they got busted with at the border, they were high quantity. They were 50 pounds or above. Of crystal. And that's going to be a big difference in what you're going to be paying for a pound if you're crossing it yourself. And so the price jumps very, very high if it's crossed for you. So um, I'll keep an eye on this case. Also, it's the conspiracies out. There's actually grand jury did indict this actual group. So we'll see how it plays out in court. Okay, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.